chaotic culture, that's the world we living in. So what's the word?
And good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another bonus edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, the pod where chaos rules and black culture is supreme. This is your boy, Ked the Pro, aka the Calculated Millennial, aka the Encore Presentation, aka
Can I get an encore? Do you want more?
aka your favorite toxic adjacent king, Ked the Poet, Ked the Closer, all that good stuff. 843 is me, Baltimore's place to be. You already know what it is. Always chaotic, never toxic most days, and back again once again with your favorite black culture highlights and black culture shenanigans. So on today's episode, or bonus episode rather, I actually had a little bit of a topic block because there was actually a myriad of things that I could have discussed, and I thought about maybe doing a full episode, but then I realized that there's some things that I have to work on. More on that later. But on top of the things that I had to work on as well, there was just sort of like a topic block, and I was just wondering, well, what can I actually talk about that would actually be, fun for me? It was one of those things that was weighing heavy on my brain, and I was like, well, I could talk about the government, but we kind of all know where that's going right now, man. Your commander in chief is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm gonna just say it like that. I could talk about Maga Minaj. Yeah, the things that I don't even want to get into that, man. For real. Just know that I've known for a long time that Onika was not a good person, and those last couple tweets aimed at Don Lemon absolutely proved it. I don't care how you feel about Don Lemon, but to call yourself I guess a fake bisexual and play it up to your crowd and your fans and whatnot, and then you've had your LGBTQIA plus fans for years just for you to go and say a homophobic slur. Yeah, you deserve everything that's coming to you, Onika Tanya Mirage Petty. But I'm gonna leave that one alone because I'm here to have a good time, not to talk about something that's depressing. So I thought, well, you know what? Let's get into some music. I originally thought that maybe I would come and talk about some anime and talk about my One Piece journey, but I actually want to save the One Piece journey for a later episode. And I actually want to get some guests on to that episode so that way we can kind of fully discuss the anime, where the anime is heading, the manga. I haven't jumped back into the manga yet. I'm still working on Egghead. So once I finish Egghead, then we can kind of dive deep into the manga because I will be picking it up and reading it once I get finished with this portion of the anime. So I decided, yeah, let's talk music. And what better way to get into it than to talk about Don't Be Dumb by A$AP Rocky. Now, full disclosure, normally when I do album reviews like this, of course, I am not the needle drop. I am not Anthony Fantano, as much as I'm kind of inspired by him. No, because I'm not, I cannot be as like in depth as I would like to be. Not to say that I'm not fully versed in hip hop. It's just that sometimes he can go deeper and deeper into certain elements of certain songs. And it's like, as much time as I dedicate to this, I know that there are some things that I'm not going to always hit. But that being said, I still want to talk about this album. Also, big shout out to Read My Soul if he ever decides to see this, because I also am inspired by him as well, and some of the music takes that he has. I know that he is, obviously from New York, but he also lives in South Carolina, which of course is my home state. So big shout out to Read My Soul, man. I love what he does on YouTube. So I'm just trying to make my way into the scene as well, because I just love hip hop and I love talking about hip hop. I also got to give a big shout out to Therapy. I've enjoyed the takes that he's had. I haven't listened to a Therapy episode in a while, and I want to get back into that, but I do take after him. I think he's a little like funnier than I am, but that's also because he does funny ass edits. And me personally, I just don't have the time to do the edits as much as I want to. I could, but we'll get there when we get there, I guess, one of these days. But anyway, that being said, I definitely wanted to talk about this album. I definitely wanted to talk about Rocky's return to music. It has been 8 years since we last seen an album from him, and this is only the fourth album in his catalog, not including any mixtapes prior to that. But for me, this was heavily anticipated because I wanted to hear what Rocky had to say after an 8-year absence and kind of figure out how he was able to craft such an album together. Now, when I heard that he was partnering with Tim Burton on this, I was a little hesitant because if you know Tim Burton's previous controversies, you were like, a rapper working with Tim Burton? And a black rapper at that? Okay. But I will say that I absolutely loved the artwork of this album. And I will have to give Tim Burton credit. I mean, I've always loved his art style, just again, a little hesitant because of past controversies. But that being said, he still did a phenomenal job with the artwork. I loved how Rocky was able to incorporate the artwork into some of his videos. And I just love some of the visualizers that he's put out on his YouTube page. If you haven't checked those out, please be sure that you do so. But yeah, I was really surprised at their collaboration, and I think we need more of that, to be honest. And for me, it doesn't have to be Tim Burton. It could be a it could be a rapper, and it could be a different artist or a different animator. To be honest, could you imagine a rapper working with with a mangaka? That would be kind of crazy. I'm here for it. If a rapper or a young rapper decides that they want to work with a Japanese mangaka, or even just an American animator, that either way is fine with me. So I definitely love the artwork. The artwork was actually very similar to. It reminded me a lot of Gorillaz, which is kind of funny because Gorillaz is actually featured on this album. So I noticed the similarities in the artwork and the outlandishness of some of the artwork. I don't want to dive deep too much into the artwork itself because I believe that someone else has an eye for that. I personally don't have the eye. I more so have the ear because I love music. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about ASAP Rocky's latest album, Don't Be Dumb. The first thing that I was blown away by was just the fact that this album sounds like it's a continuation of testing, that there are some experimental sounds, except that it feels more like an answer to testing. Whereas if you felt like testing might have thrown you off a little bit when you first heard it and I thought, nah, Rocky is going downhill, this is the answer to that. This is like, okay, let me go back into the lab and show y'all what I'm truly made of. And I honestly love the sounds that I was getting from this album. Now, is it Long Live ASAP? Obviously not. But I think that this might be my number 2, if I'm being honestly honest. I love At Long Last ASAP, but you can tell that body of work was incomplete, obviously because of the passing of ASAP Yams. But still, I personally think that Don't Be Dumb might be number 2 on my list after Long Live ASAP, but that's just personally. And then, of course, Live Love ASAP. That's a mixtape, but at the same time, that's at the top of the food chain there. But getting off topic, what I love about how this album starts, obviously, it starts off with Order of Protection, and I like the way that Rocky is, addressing the situation. He's like, hey, he's been gone a long time. He's been trying to get back into the groove of things. He's really talking about like his resiliency, his passion for the craft. And then of course he goes in to talk about some of the things that rubbed him the wrong way. Again, we for those who do know, obviously he had the falling out with ASAP Rocky. I won't really call it a falling out. It was more like ASAP Rocky betrayed him. And so that's how he feels. So he's just like, even in some of the bars that he has, like, don't throw up the ASAP, can't forget what you did. Remember how you act, talk behind my back, talk all kinds of trash, my back, all kinds of stabs. And it's not just directed toward ASAP Rocky, but I really felt like, oh no, he's making a point. Like, okay, yeah, this nigga no longer is cool with me. And if y'all see him in the street, then hey, it is what it is. Not condoning violence, obviously, but still. I even like the way that the chorus is structured. It's been a while since I've been in the league, a couple little trials, a couple of leaks. Still in the field. I'm running in cleats. Last time I checked, we still in the lead. It shows that this man is still resilient. He still sees himself at the top of the rap game. And honestly, you really can't ask for anything better than that. Now, the track Helicopter comes like immediately after that. And obviously, he made a music video that was very, very creative for Helicopter. And I really love the visuals there, the mini helicopters rolling around the city and whatnot. And watching the police chase and then watching the crowds and him twirling the shirt around, he does make a lot of um references to uh in my opinion to Petey Pablo, obviously, because it references the song Raise Up. If you haven't heard Raise Up, I mean, at this point, either you're too young or I'm too old, one of the two. But obviously, Raise Up, with me being from South Carolina, even though Petey Pablo's from North Carolina, Raise Up was still a hot song in South Carolina. So there's that. uh if you want to, like, if you hear that reference in the chorus, take my white tee off, spinning like a helicopter, take my white feet off, spinning like a helicopter, fuck with young pretty Flacco, I pity pop you. Fucking with that pretty Flacco might pity pop you. Like, it's really, like, you could tell the similarities. I really do like the groove to this song, and if I'm not mistaken, this was produced by Southfiend 3000. And let me hey, I'm gonna check because I'm gonna look at that. Yeah, it was produced by Kelvin Crash and Southfiend 3000. Okay, I was right about that. And of course, it interpolates "Raise Up" by Petey Pablo, obviously. So I really do like this track. I think it's a really good groove. It's really a nice little head nodder. Uh, I I really can't say too much about it. Um, yeah, it's really what it is, man. Uh, I and I got a little stuck there just because I have so many thoughts like kind of swirling in my head at the moment. But still, I really enjoyed what Helicopter had to bring. It's a nice little head bopper, and I think it's a really cool song and it has a really interesting video. Now, the third track was actually a skit, which I don't think we've had skits in a long while for a lot of rap albums, but it's a skit called Interrogation. Yeah, getting worse twisted up. But anyway, the third track, which is the interrogation skit, it pretty much, you hear Rocky kind of like speaking his mind and like calling out critics. He's calling out like people online. He's not changing for anybody. He's just kind of like, hey, look, he knows how to keep it real. He's not changing up his flow. He's not doing anything. Like, even like in the skit says, like, motherfuckers get it real fucked up around here. All I mean, all you niggas listening and everything. Look, motherfuckers, don't think that I give two shits. And honestly, that is the kind of energy that we need when when we're doing something that we're passionate about and doing things that that we really truly love. Like, as Erica Badu says, keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. This kind of reminds me of that. Not similar. Well, I guess it is similar. Even though they're in two different styles of music. Obviously, Erica Badu is neo soul, but it just shows the passion of the artist who really just is like, hey, look, y'all want me to change. Y'all want me to change flow, change my style, change anything that I rap about. Nah. Get that out of here. Like, I am staying who I am, and there ain't nothing y'all can say to me that's gonna make me change. Like, I'm enhancing my shit. And he says, I always look for the good and don't tell me how my production is and how this motherfucker sound, nigga. The buzz is about me. And this might be also a slight, because, or maybe this might be a shot at those because he felt slighted about what people said about testing. And honestly, again, people have their art. And granted, we know that testing was a different direction because, again, Rocky does not have yams anymore. So he has to go in and kind of figure out this thing all on his own and come up with a different sound. Obviously, we're no longer into the blog era. We're no longer into the early 2010s and whatnot. So, of course, music is going to sound different as we go through the ages. But that song really just shows a reflection of, hey, this is who I am and this is how I feel. Now, as far as the next track, Stole Your Flow. Now, this is the one that got a lot of attention online because obviously Rocky takes shots not so subtle shots at people who he sees as foes, at Drake, and yeah. It might not just be, you know, taking a jab at Drake. It's jabs at other people as well, but you could really tell it's a not so subtle shot. Like, first you stole my flow, I stole your bitch. I can't trust the stole. Just pulling my kids. Swear to never lie. Cross my heart, hope to die. Then I sold the switch. Then I hit it with a kiss. Like that is the chorus. And I think that's like a really far way to kind of start the album. Just like, hey, look, here we go. And then if you didn't think that he was aiming at Drake or took a subtle jab at Drake, I mean, look at the actual lines in the verse where he says, like, niggas getting BBLs, lucky we don't body shame, throwing dirt on Rocky name, turn around and copy game. Like, it can't get more direct than that, in my opinion, because obviously we all know the joke behind Drake and his abs. So there's that. I really do like how he's coming on this, because he really like he really is comfortable in who he is and who his family is. That man said, "Our Father, I pray to always strive and prosper. Now I'm a father, my bitch better than my toddler. Like this, my baby mama Rihanna, so we unbothered." This man literally is just like, hey, look, I got a family. I was able to get, you know, fall in love with Rihanna and make a family with Rihanna. At this point, I'm unbothered. And to be honest, like, I don't think, I honestly don't think Rocky minds being a house husband for real, because we know that Rihanna makes way more money than like all of the rappers, if we being completely honest, unless your name is like Jay-Z. But still, we know that Rihanna is the breadwinner. That don't really mean that makes Rocky uncomfortable. And I don't think he, you know, is shy about that. He's like, I'm not uncomfortable who I am. Look, I got Rihanna. Nigga, it's Rihanna. So what you mean? Like, and to be honest, if it was me, I'd act the same way too. Let me like, hey, dude, I got Rihanna on my shoulder. Like, I don't care what y'all say about me and like, as long as you don't come for my kids or my wife, nigga, I'm good. I will play the house husband. I don't gotta work another day in my life. You feel me? He really don't. Neither does Rihanna, to be honest. But still, he really don't gotta do shit. And I just kind of like the way that he's coming, because he comes with a different kind of energy, making people realize, like, hey, all this talk, you know, and whatnot. So hey, look, I'm gonna steal you try to steal my flow based on my rhyme scheme, so I'm gonna just go steal your whole flow altogether. You know, I got the girl you used to, you know, heavily crush on, and I got the admiration from her that you never got. And also, people still fuck with me. I don't think you can get really, you know, any more direct than that. I really like Stow Your Flow, and I really like the energy that he had on this track. Stay Here for Life. We finally get our first feature, and that comes from Brent Faiyaz. Now, all right, look, I don't think I've ever gotten honest about Brent on this podcast, so I'm gonna just say it clearly. It's not that I don't think Brent can sing. It's just that there are certain singers who have a pocket that they don't need to reach out of. In other words, if Brent stays in his pocket and in his range, he's fine. I don't expect him to be Luther or anybody like that, but still, if he stays in that general pocket and doesn't cross outside the lines of that pocket, his voice is fine. And I think that he stays in the pocket with this song, Stay Here for Life. And one of the things that I just have to, you know, critique when it comes to Brent Faiyaz is that, yes, you know, we know how he really got famous and like all the toxic songs that he's dropped in the past, but I can't say that I won't say that I haven't enjoyed a Brent Faiyaz album or a project, but there are some that I'm just kind of like, some are stronger than others. But with this feature here, he definitely stays in that pocket, and he doesn't like go above and beyond what he's capable of. And I hope that doesn't like I hope that doesn't cause any controversies on this pod. Listen, I'm just giving my opinion. I still fuck with dude. I'm just saying that, yeah, that's just kind of how I see his singing ability. But never mind that. Uh, Obviously, Rocky talks about staying in a perfect moment with someone he loves, and he just wants to enjoy the moment, and he wants to spend time with that person he loves, and just imagining a future while keeping everything else like on the hush. This kind of the life that he really kind of lives now, if we're being honest, outside of the fact that it's Rihanna, and obviously anything Rihanna does is going to be publicized. But outside of them showing up to fashion shows or the occasional appearance to the media and whatnot, you really don't know what goes on in their household for real. And I think that that's perfect. And I think Rocky here is kind of romanticizing that perfect life as far as, hey, look, the person that I love and care for, I want to be able to spend as much time with them as possible without anybody like digging in our business. And I think that's how our relationships should be at all times. Like, you're gonna see some stuff on the surface, but at the end of the day, you're not gonna know what's going on behind closed doors. And honestly, I think that that is perfect. Uh, it's really not too much to say more about this song. I think it's really, really, really dope song, and I think it is really, really beautiful. You know, on the outro though, which kind of leads into the next song, it's kind of funny because it's just, and I'm gonna read a little bit of the outro where it says, "This is just a quick one for you dumb narrow-minded motherfuckers out there. I am not a player." It's crazy because if I'm looking at what Genius says, it says like the spoken word outro is a middle finger to fans who want Rocky to stay single or toxic for the sake of his old persona. And this man is just like, he's not a player anymore. He's literally locked in at this point. It would be dumb for him to fumble the bag and fumble Rihanna at the same time. And honestly, bro, if you fumble Rihanna, I listen, I don't know Rocky from a can of paint, but if that boy fumbles Rihanna, I guarantee you on this podcast, I'm gonna whoop your ass verbally. That's all I got to say. Do not fumble Rihanna. First and foremost, nobody should be fumbling any relationship that they have. But you, Rocky, don't you do it, boy. Don't you do it. I'm just saying, well, you already got what, 3-4 kids? You better be, I mean, you locked in with her for life anyway, one way or the other, because y'all have children together. But still, in life, we know how people in the rap game often are. Sometimes you think that they have a good thing and they find a way to fumble it, or they just split amicably. But either way, I just think that their relationship is what it is. But that outro just goes into the next song, which is Player. And I really like Player itself. It's not like the strongest song on the album for me, but I do like this track. And he just continues to, I guess, flaunt what the Player lifestyle really would be if he was still in that persona, in my opinion. And I think it's a good track. It's not the strongest, but he definitely uses a lot of ball analogies, referencing basketball players to, actually being a player. And I kind of fuck with that. But again, it's not my favorite, but I do like the song and where it goes. So there's that. Then there's No Trespassing. And with No Trespassing, it's really not much to say about the song. To be honest, I do like the way that it was that the song itself was crafted. I'm looking at the producer list right now. Take a Day Trip, Mingo For You, and Will Grogan were the ones who helped produce the song. So I will give him all the credit in the world for that. It's nothing like lyrically strong in this particular song either. But I do like one of the bars that he has in there where he says like, Cash Money been a nigga since a juvie. Obviously, that's a reference to Juvenile and Cash Money. I will give him that. There's a couple of bars in there, like caught him a charge on Saturday, depending on you, going to church on Sunday, all the sisters on you, straight from the courtroom to stage, another big performance. Like, I do like the visual that he definitely throws on there. Then of course we got Stop Snitching, and This one actually has again more features here. This time we get features from Sauce Walker and Bossman D-Lo. And I was completely blown away by when Bossman popped up. I was just like, who's rapping? I'm like, it feels like somebody rapping like not quite off beat, but it felt like it. And I was like, oh wait, that's Bossman D-Lo. How did I not figure that out? And of course, when Sauce Walker hops in there as well, you could just tell, oh man, this is straight up Houston on this shit for real, for real. I love this track. Especially like some of the bars that Rocky has on there. Like it's really I'm trying to figure out one of the there was one bar in there and now I'm gonna look for it because goodness gracious, trying to remember everything off the top of my head. Oh, okay. Here we go. These days, these niggas from a different school. These days, these young niggas make snitching cool. Youngins play by different rules. Look, I'm from where niggas taught to get physical, niggas shoot and get critical. When niggas die, it get biblical. Yeah. Obviously, talking about the game in itself and to of course stop snitching. That's always been a part of black culture and whatnot. And there is plenty more commentary on snitch culture and things like that. But still, I do like how Rocky kind of references that. Sauce Walker, of course, comes in here. These niggas talking too much. He get to tell him when my people selling now, we got to slide in the truck. He got the packages jumping, is bracking, the junkies is buying it up. Customers lining it up. We blowing Zah in the tux. Your baby daddy sit down when he pissed. Most of these rappers is bitch made. All up in Harlem, Colombian bitch under her tongue, a bitch, big blade. Like that man, he comes straight with he comes straight with it. So I gotta give him that, man. Yeah. And I don't even get and I don't even say I don't that's not even Sauce Walker. That's Boss Man's line. But anyway, yeah. So I really loved Stop Snitching. I thought that was a great track. Of course, then there's Shut the Fuck Up. It actually features Slay Squad, which I thought was different. This was definitely a different sounding song for real. I'm still trying to like I guess I'm still trying to figure it out. I have to listen to Shut the Fuck Up a few more times. That being said, I know that it interpolates Pump It from the Black Eyed Peas. I found that interpolation in there, just the way that the song goes itself. But I think that this was a good feature itself. I don't know if I would put this again on my tier of strongest songs. I think this is really like mid tier. So it's a good song. I don't know if I would ever like come back to it, but again, I've listened to this album at least 3 or 4 times now. I'm still debating on certain songs, but there are definitely songs on there that really like caught my attention. This kind of really wasn't the one. But the next one, Punk Rocky, definitely took me out of my element. This song is literally like it feels like a rock song, and it's just like, damn, okay. I was not expecting this at all. This really just did not feel like this feels like Rocky jumping out of his element and going into rock, kind of similar to like what Lil Wayne did, except this feels more like this feels better, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes when it comes to Wheezy, when he would jump into rock themed songs, they kind of felt dated. This doesn't feel dated, in my opinion. But I do love the way that this is crafted. I want to fall in love, don't want no broken heart, don't want to grow apart. I want to fall in love, don't that's the chorus and whatnot. And then like in the first verse, like I cried alone in my truck, I fell alone in the front because I don't know who to trust. And I've been going through some stuff. Don't trust these hoes you love. Yeah, your ego's one hell of a drug. And one thing about this verse is that you can tell that it goes into like his emotions, and he just is like, I don't want to have all of these negative feelings, and I don't want to be treated poorly. And I think that kind of fits like I don't want to call it a punk rock theme, more like I say more like pop rock, if that makes any sense. It fits more like into the pop rock thing than it is punk. But I still get the feeling of the song. This is really a more of a rock song that's dedicated towards like, you know, wondering what love truly is and how he feels. And knowing what emotions to feel when put in bad situations. He does not want to feel these things. He wants to feel genuine love. And I truly just love the way that this song is crafted. Now, this is one of the top ones on my list. It's not my favorite. I'm gonna get to my favorite, and you might be surprised at what my favorite is, but I'll get there in a second. The next one is going to be Air Force Black DeMarco, and I really like this song. It's of course he had a video for it, and in the video, of course, you see the cartoon characters drawn by Tim Burton come out and actually cause like a ruckus in the bar. That was really really hilarious and really a treat to see. So it's I think one of the craziest lines that I've seen on this song. Uh this man literally said, "When I die, I'm gonna ask Jesus for a feature," and I'm just sitting here like, you know what, Rocky, I can't even be mad at you, bro. It's definitely like a confidence bar. That to have Jesus as a collaborator on your song, okay, Flacco. All right, that's all I got to say about that line. And he's got some really clever bars on him when they see him fainting seizure, pop it, teed up, woo, Mamacita had an anorexic bottle bitch, she was an eater. Okay, that kind of reminds me of the line at the end of your verse for fucking problems. Turn a dyke bitch out, have her humping boys. Like this the same. This feels in the same pocket. Like had an anorexic model bitch, she was an eater. Okay, we get it. It's a lot of I just really really love the way that this song is that this song is. It gives me a lot of good feelings when I listen to it. And once again, it's another head nod, head nodder. I won't say banger or anything like that because the beat on this feels more like synthetic, and it's not like trunk rattling stuff or anything like that, but it feels like a faster pace. And I think I really like this about this particular song. He also has like some uncredited vocals from Spencer Sutherland on this as well. So I gotta give him credit for that because you can kind of hear it throughout the outro and the post chorus, like "Free Your Mind," "Floating on the Current," "Our Hearts Are Racing," "We'll Never Feel Alone Again," "We High, We High, We High." Oh, like you really have to listen to it to kind of like understand the context. But I think if you haven't listened to this album, you will definitely enjoy that song. Probably the best song on here for me is "Whiskey, Release Me." And what I really like about this song is how Rocky kind of dives deep into his vices about, drinking whiskey, about having sex with women, and kind of trying to find a way to be not celibate, but trying to find a way to slow down, and realizes that he can't. So that underlying tone of, "Hey, can you help me, like rescue me from my vices because I can't rescue myself." That's what it feels like. It feels like it's like you want to stop, but do you actually want to stop? You have to ask yourself that question. Like, you seem like you're enjoying this, and yet you're asking to stop, but yet you won't put forth the effort. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that everybody has their own vices as well. I just, when you have vices like that, obviously you have to seek outside sources to help with those vices. But one of the things that I just love is like how people kind of put that into art. And then, first off, big shout out to, because Damon Albarn, aka the mastermind behind Gorillaz, was on this track. And man, he definitely, like, he added a lot to the beginning of this track in the intro, and even throughout the chorus and the post chorus, you hear his voice. And I just like, man, I really want a full video of Whiskey, and then give me the characters from Tim Burton, and then give me Gorillaz in one video. That's what I want to see, you know. Also, he had West Side Gun on this album, but West Side doesn't give a verse at all. All West Side Gun does is give his ad libs. So you hear the hey, boom, 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 boom. You're gonna hear that at the very end. But you're not gonna get a verse, which is kind of a, I don't know. That's kind of like a tease. Like, bro, why would you do that? Come on, man. Like, I wanted to hear him drop like a verse. It doesn't even have to be like the longest thing. Just say something outside of the ad libs. But I mean, here we are. That's kind of what it is. The next one is number 2 for me, and that is Robbery. Now, Robbery is very, very unique in that this feels like jazz club. This is strictly, not a hip hop beat at all. This is strictly like jazz. And it feels like you're in like the 1940s or 50s with jazz at its height. And you're sitting here like, oh man, this definitely uh it feels like we're literally in, at the Cotton Club somewhere in the 1940s. And as I say that, because I'm looking through the writers, and Duke Ellington is credited as a writer, so that it's like, well, duh. So no wonder it feels like that. As far as like producers, like Rocky completely produces this on his own. So big shout out to him. Some of the samples were again from Duke Ellington and his orchestra from the song Caravan. So that's kind of where the samples come from regarding this. But this is literally just like straight jazz, straight Cotton Club. You'll hear it. And the feature verse comes from Doechii. Now, what's funny about this song is that you could kind of hear them playing back and forth about, their quote unquote love for each other and how they make, each other feel. And, Doechii getting into some of the lines she ends, of course, with a kiss. And some people online didn't know how to feel about that. But outside of that, I think the bars, you can hear the banter back and forth, like, oh, you love me, or oh, you want this. And he's just like, yeah, you know what I kind of do. Come rock with me, let's take it all off. And when they think about it, it's like, oh, he was describing their love as a robbery at first. And then it turns into a whole actual robbery scene where Doechii and Rocky pull up. I don't know if they're pulling up to a bank or if they're like actually at the whatever jazz club that they're at, but they're just like, hey, look, contrary to, I don't mean to disturb, but he comes off as the gentleman, whereas Doechii like comes off as the, I guess the hothead, like, everybody get on the motherfucking floor. And he's just like, hey, I don't mean to disturb you, but yes, this is a robbery. I need everybody to undress, pause. I need all your jewelry. I need all your phones, credit cards, keys to the cars. Like, I need all of that. Don't move. You'll be all right. As long, and then he's just like, oh, he sees like someone got a chain. Like, hey, play, hey, let me see that ice. Like, okay. So that's I like how they were able to craft that song. That was really, really, really unique to me. And that is like literally my second favorite song after Whiskey. So I do have to give him that. And going into the next song, Don't Be Dumb, Trip Baby. This song actually apparently it leaked a few years ago, and I completely forgot about it. But I'm hearing it now. So it's really like the penultimate track after, no, not including like the digital bonus tracks. But one thing that I liked about this song, at least in part one, he gets a little more emotional, and you can really like feel that and hear that in his voice. It's just like, let me know who we ain't die, feeling alive, just like my vital signs. Show me all your vital signs. Let me know. Pinch me, let me know I'm alive. I ain't never been this high before. Right now, I do anything just to stay in your graces, like anything every day. Traded on my chains and brands and names, changing all my ways, cut my braids. He really didn't cut his braids, but you can tell that he's feeling emotional, and he wants to make sure that he does everything to stay close to, who he loves and whatnot. And it just feels like you hear this whirlwind of emotions as he discusses this. And then it goes into part two, which is like was called Trip Baby. And I think that whereas the first half was, him getting into his emotions, this one, it sees him more so on the lines of trying to imagine. I don't want to say he's actually imagining a trip. Trips roll the 4, 5, 6, baby, 100 G's on the lick, baby. Bet on me for the win, feel the breeze on the trip, summer eve on your pits, Hennessy on your lips, baby, bubbly on the. So it feels more like, hey, listen, I'll do anything for you. Don't leave, stay by my side. And then on the flip side, he's like, well, if you do stay by my side, these are the benefits. That's what Trip Baby kind of feels like to me. It's just like, hey, look, I'm over here begging. I'm a yearner. And then on the flip side, I'm the player. And this is what all I have to offer you. So, and I really like the dynamic of that song. It's and I really think that kind of leads, because the last bar of that line is like, baby needs new shoes, which means that he literally has children at this point, but and he has more than one. So whereas, oh well, like in gambling terms, like, hey, come on, baby needs a new pair of shoes, and dice, and throwing the dice and taking a chance and taking risk. He already done jumped the shark and took the risk. Now he actually got actual babies. So there's that. So I don't know why that conceptually didn't like click for me, but duh. But anyway, that's why we do these things that we do. I personally love that. The end is really different for me. Because it's really like he what he does is he tag teams with Jessica Pratt, and the song is literally called The End, and it feels like, and with will.i.am, and he definitely gets into some deep topics here as far as like religious blasphemy, talking about racism. It's really a lot. Like, don't trip, keep calm, carry on now, even though the wicked ones built the bomb now. Got sick pigs in the ghetto bucking us down. Dystopian yesterday done now. Christians waiting for Christ to come down. More money, more problems, no solution found. And he really gets deep into these topics. And like in the chorus, it really just says, this is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. And it highlights these topics that could bring about our destruction, whether it be the world in general or even just the United States, and who we have. I could have a whole dissertation about that. But it pretty much just like goes into these topics and these ideals of where to find wisdom and where to how to encourage when things are getting and look so bleak. He says, I be asking for answers, I be asking forgiveness, not just on my behalf, but on behalf of my niggas. Not many blacks hit 1 billion, but we still packing the prison. The Klan got too many members. This is all the devil's agenda. Like, he really dives deep into this song, and I was surprised that he was able to touch those certain topics. So I got to give my hats off to Rocky for being able to compile a song like that. Now that's really where the song that's where the album supposedly ends. There are some bonus songs on there. You got SWAT Team, which again, this was like, I guess he did this song last year, and it's not really like my favorite, but I do like I think I do like it. It's got to grow on me a little bit. Once again, Kelvin Crash and Take a Day Trip, they kind of collaborate on this song, so I really have to, I guess, spend more time with it. But he does end it on a very high note with Tyler the Creator on Fish and Steak, What It Is. And I gotta say, man, Tyler has been on an incredible run for the last couple of years. Really, he's been on an incredible run for me since I'd say since Igor, maybe even before that. I know like Tyler was dropping shock raps, but I think with this one, I just love the run that Tyler's on, especially some of the feature verses that he's been given between this album, between Clips' album. Like, he's really just been on his shit. I highly recommend that someone, if you have this on your Spotify, definitely like listen to this song. Tyler goes into it where he says like just a couple of lyrics. I ain't got no gas for you, but my passengers are relaxed because I got max space like NASA does. The seats are warm and toast. Most don't know how to how it feels to glide on boats with wheels. I hope I don't crash. Highway patrol ain't seen us, ain't speeding. I'm cruising like Ethan. I'm a genius. Like I just love the wordplay, man. Uh, and Rocky holds his own up as well. I'm trying to find out like which bar actually like really really stuck with me on this song. Um, oh, and it's literally the last bar of his verse, like where he said, "My papa had boxes of Arm& Hammers. He was arming hammers when he whip." Like I think that's a pretty clever bar. He's got more in there as well. If my father was whipping his wrist, you dig, he'd probably whip up a chick. I'm fixing to cook up a lick. I'm spilling your lid. Like just the little rhyming patterns that he has within those few bars there. I think I really enjoyed that. Overall, that is my like entire review of "Don't Be Dumb" by ASAP Rocky. If I had to give it a score out of 10, I'm giving this a solid 8. I really, really enjoyed this. Again, I don't think Rocky is like reinventing the wheel with this album. However, he comes in confident. He shows that he's still got it. Like the clever wordplay is still there. The of course the pretty bars are still there as well. But I do love the topics of love and wrestling with those demons, and of course, reflecting on fatherhood and reflecting on his vices. I love all of it, to be honest with you. I just love the direction that he took with this album. And I think that if you haven't gotten the opportunity to listen to it, you definitely should take some time. Of course, the online hecklers who, for whatever reason, have it out for Rocky because he dissed Drake, they're going to try and detract from it, and they're going to try and downplay the album, saying that it was trash and that it wasn't better than Testing or it was worse than Testing. Now, honestly, I would give "Don't Be Dumb" a number 2 for me personally. If I had to put it, if I had to rank his albums, obviously I got "Long Live ASAP," then I got "Don't Be Dumb," then I have "At Long Last ASAP," and then I have this one. 2 and 3 can kind of be flipped, but because there might be some days where I might go back to "At Long Last ASAP" and I might put that in the front. But I personally think that "Don't Be Dumb" deserves that number 2 spot for me personally. But that's just how I view it. Let me know what your comments are. Let me know what you think about or what you thought about the album. If you really enjoyed it, if you kind of enjoyed it and thought it was mid, or if you didn't enjoy it at all, let me know. Once again, I personally enjoyed the album. I think that it was a turn to a form for Rocky, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he decides to drop anything else. And this could be it, because he really doesn't have to drop any music anymore for real, for real. But if he feels like he wants to, then of course, obviously, he's more than welcome to. And I just have to say, man, bravo, man. Welcome back, ASAP Rocky. I loved it. I loved it. So once again, let me know what your thoughts are on the album. Also, if you're watching this clip or any other clip here on TikTok or on YouTube, please be sure that you check out this episode on youtube.com/at Chaotic Culture Podcast for more episodes like this and for more topics like this. We just talk about hip hop. We also talk about anime. We also talk about Black culture in general. If you have not checked out this podcast, please be sure that you do so at youtube.com/Chaotic Culture Podcast. Like the video, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Again, if you're watching any of these clips on TikTok or on YouTube or on Instagram, be sure that you give us a follow and check out the full episodes once again at youtube.com/at Chaotic Culture Podcast. If you so happen to really like the content, of course, I also just ask that you please join the Patreon that we're starting up. That's patreon.com/Chaotic Culture Pod. You can join for as low as $2 today just to get bonus content. You'll get this episode before anybody else does. Once again, I appreciate your support. Big shout out to my co-host. And to end off the episode, just a real quick announcement for my anime and my blurs. With that in mind, if you love anime music, if you love Nickelodeon music, if you love like trying to find out if you have favorite intros in general and you are in the DC area, then please definitely check out BlurredCon. We are actually hosting a panel at BlurredCon on March 7th at 4 p.m. Definitely come and check us out. It will be at the Hyatt Regency in Arlington, Virginia. So please be sure that you pull up for our anime music guessing game, or really more and truly cartoon music guessing game called Pass the Aux, the Nerd Edition. We definitely did this panel back in Anime NYC. This was Pass the Aux, the anime music guessing game. So now we're adding more elements. We're adding songs from our favorite cartoons from Nickelodeon, from Cartoon Network, from Disney Channel, from Kids WB, from Fox Kids, and so on and so forth. So definitely come and check us out and participate. We really appreciate it. Otherwise, that is my time. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this bonus episode of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. And if you think that I should do more music reviews, definitely hit me up and let me know. I would love to dive deep into some of these rap albums and try to see if I can, compile my thoughts together. I literally came off my 4th listen of the album and wanted to kind of give my thoughts. I did need a little bit of help, obviously, because there were just so many lyrics that I wanted to catch and point out. And again, I'm not Anthony Fantano. I'm not going to remember everything, but still, I definitely enjoy doing these kinds of reviews and want to be able to craft my actual thoughts together and how I felt about it. So overall, thank you guys once again for joining me. I'm going to go and get up out of here. I got to go eat. But until next time, folks, remember, embrace the culture, chaos rules, be blessed, be safe, God is love. I am out of here. Deuces.
So what's the word?
You are now tuned in to the Chaotic Culture Podcast. And